All right, guys. So we're going to be doing automation of week review. The workflow is going to be very simple. All right. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be I'm going to describe to you what this automation will involve. We're going to have a very simple goal, definition of an input and an output that I want from this automation. And then we're going to be using ChatGPT to kind of like work through the code necessary to create the automation. And then we're going to test it, see if it meets the criteria for what we want. And having met the criteria, we're going to move to the next automation. And that's it. Okay. So to get started, let's go. Automation of week review. To understand that, I need to give a quick explanation of my system for automating. To understand what that means, first, I need to explain to you my system for doing weekly reviews of the stuff that I did. So in essence, what I do every week is I have something called a task backlog, as you can see here. And in this task backlog, I have all the tasks that I have to perform and that I have performed throughout a certain period of time. So the table is actually really simple. It's done in Notion. And what you're seeing here is I have a task, which is just a description of the task that I have to do, a check to indicate whether or not I did the task, a project to which that task is related or not, to which that task is related, point, and then a date, which marks the date in which that task was performed. For example, if I come here and I say that I finished this task of creating a newsletter, then the date should be, all right, so that's not implemented. That's not good. Oh, that's true. Because the date is actually just a reference to the date when I should complete this task. But then I also have completion date, which is right here, which is actually what I was talking about. And when I click check the task, as you can see, the completion date will have the date in which I marked checked. And if I unmarked it, then completion date is not there anymore. Perfect. And then an URL, which is usually just a URL link with something that, it's completely directly related to the task at hand. And sorry for my voice, but I went to watch a friend of mine fight in an MMA event and I screamed so much that I lost my voice. But I hope that, you can still understand me fine. And okay, so what is the week review in this context? The context of this project, this system that I have, week review means to look at the things that I did, right? In this case, all the tasks that are marked checked over here. And then based on the tasks that are marked checked, I would like to have something that says actually three things. So I'm going to go back to the page with the automation of the week review. I'm going to come here and I'm going to say, okay, so let's create the content. So week review system. And I'm going to create a page over here. And my week review system is actually very simple. I will show you in a second what that review system is. I have my protocols and flows here, and I should have my week review. There we go. Week review system is right here. And I have some tips. Great. Okay. So what is my week review system in a nutshell? Well, it involves first setting a timer because I don't want to spend, 3 hours reviewing what I did. So I want to make sure that I'm time blocked so I don't waste that much time. So actually this one, it's not going to make as much sense for our case because I'm going to be automating that process. So it's going to be much faster than actually spending 45 minutes on this task. Finally, I'm going to be reviewing some Pocket links, which I use Pocket, which is this read it later app that, you can use it to save a bunch of links that you're interested in. And it's an RSS feed app. It's very common, very simple. And you have all these links related to things that you're interested in, etc. And then you can review them, etc. Okay. And then I open my calendar and I see the week view. I use Google Calendar. So I come here, I look at my calendar. This is my calendar. And then I'm at the week review. And then I kind of go back and I see what I did. Recently, I haven't been using Google Calendar that much. So that's why There's not much stuff in this thing, but essentially that's what I do. And then I answer these questions. And this is what we're going to be automating. What did you do / learn? What was bad? What was good? And then how can you improve? Then I set some goals for the next few weeks. And then I update the planning flow chart diagram on the iPad, which actually is something I haven't been doing. And I update some trackers on Google Sheets, another thing that I haven't been doing. And this one, for setting goals, I'm going to be leaving for the next automation, which is the planning part. Okay. So now I'm going to be automating this process by having ChatGPT take in as input the table with the information of the tasks that I did, right? And it will generate an output that's structured to respond to these questions. What did you do? What was bad? What was good? We're going to walk through an example of how I can get around these questions, because obviously I have to say whether or not the tasks were bad or good, not ChatGPT, but I think we can generate a really insightful conversation with ChatGPT based on these questions of, bad, good, essentially, and then how can you improve? And we're going to see how we can do that with ChatGPT. So what I'm going to be doing first is I'm going to be explaining to ChatGPT that I have these tasks and that I have this kind of system, quote, just very simple. And we're going to see what it proposes for me to automate. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to ask, in this case, I'm using ChatGPT 4, and I'm going to say, I have a system for doing weekly reviews that involve reviewing some tasks from a Notion database and answering the following questions. Then I'm copying the questions. So, what did you do, learn? What was bad? What was good? How can you improve? I would like to automate this using the ChatGPT API. Can you write me some Python code to do that? So let's start with that. Now, since ChatGPT is limited by the fact that it only has knowledge of up to September of 2021. I don't know if GPT-4 has more updated knowledge, but I think it doesn't. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be explaining, for example, how the ChatGPT API works, just like in essence. So I'm going to be coming here. I'm going to go to my automations. I'm going to do cat for the ChatGPT API code that I have. And then I'm going to paste that to my clipboard. And now I'm going to paste it here. So this is how you call the ChatGPT API. I'm going to show you how to call the ChatGPT API. And I'm going to say my goal is to feed as input a table with the tasks performed. The table will have the following format. So I'm going to be explaining the format of the table that I just showed you guys. So the format of the table is going to be this one that I was showing you just here. So it's tasks backlog. Perfect. So it's tasks. Okay, task, check, projects, date, completion date, and URL. Tasks, tasks, check, project, date, completion date, and URL. So this to feed as input this table, and the output should be an answer to the first question, which is related to, let me show you here. The first question, if you remember, is what did you do, learn? So it should answer the first question, what did you do? What did you do? Now, then, in terms of bad and good, it should prompt me in the sense of for the following tasks that you did not perform, which you should have. Okay, something like that, right? And then based on the output to this question, based on the output to these questions, let me see. No, I have a better. And then ask me what was good and bad. And then based on my answer of what was good and bad, provide tips and guidance for improvement for the next week. Okay, so that's going to be essentially the mode of the app itself. So let's see what it gets. This is, another thing that I would like to teach ChatGPT would be to learn how to use LangChain to create a sequence of prompts to generate this thing. But this is a next level thing. So let's just start with that. Okay, let's see. So the output that I get from ChatGPT, you can achieve this by modifying the main function and interact with ChatGPT API. According, here's an example of how you can achieve this. Okay, let's say. Okay, so this is the output that I got. Essentially, the idea of ChatGPT would be to, get a basic, I have a basic outline of I have a basic function that gets the response from the ChatGPT API. Then I have a main function that, creates a CLI tool, and then it reads a CSV, and then you complete the following tasks, and then checks automatically the tasks that were completed. And then asks for input regarding the good stuff and the bad stuff. And then asks me, how can I improve based on the good and bad? Get response, improvement question, and print it. Yeah, so that was essentially what I was thinking about. One thing that I might not enjoy, I think there's something missing here, but we can try it. So I can come here and I can say, okay, so this is the automating weekly reviews for ChatGPT. Okay, cool. Wait, what? Until there we go. And now I can come here. I can say, okay, so description, gather questions, question, path to your task CSV file. Okay, so it's getting my OpenAI API key. This all looks good. Only thing I need is the database from Notion. In this case, I'm going to be downloading and exporting the CSV, but in the future, I'm going to integrate with my wrapper for the Python Notion API. So let's go to tasks backlog. And now that we're here, I'm going to export this as a CSV. So export, let's just say markdown CSV, and then include current view. Include everything. Yeah. And then export. And let's just save it right here inside our inside where we are right now, building 5 automation apps, building. Yeah, there we go. And that's perfect. There we go. So now I have a zip file. So based on the zip file, I'm going to come back to this folder. I'm going to see if the zip file is there. It is. So I'm going to say unzip this guy. And then -d is tasks backlog. Yeah. And then boom. And then if I go ls, boom, we have our CSV file. So real path, tasks backlog. And let's just use the more command just to see if the stuff is there. Yep, it is. Beautiful. So now that it's there, we can test this app straight from the output that I got from ChatGPT, which is awesome. So I'm going to say automating weekly reviews. And then I'm going to say, I'm going to say -q. -q is going to be the question you want to ask. But is -t, yeah, and it doesn't use the -q for anything, right? Or is the q? Yeah. So we don't need the -q, we just need the path to the CSV. So I'm going to say -t, and then it's task backlog. And then based on this, what is the name of the CSV? Tasks, okay. It's not letting me do the thing. Okay. So let me see just one thing. Okay, so move task backlog. Yeah, to just tasks backlog.csv. So I just renamed the file to something more readable. Well, nice. So now, yeah. Wait, what? What? Okay. More task backlog.csv. Okay. I just move it accidentally to my current folder. So let me just move it back. Tasks backlog. Yeah. And now I'm going to say Python automating week reviews.py -t tasks backlog, then tasks. Come on. Through path, task backlog. Okay, there we go. So I'm just going to copy this path, and I'm going to say Python automating week reviews -t this. Let's see what happens. Now I'm running, and then it had an error because it said tasks, and it's actually task. So I'm going to just look up where it made the mistake. I think I can already see. And I'm just going to change it to task because I didn't know. That's fine. And now we're going to try again. And then it's a key error task. And now that might be a problem. So I'm just going to open an IPython shell. I'm going to import pandas as df, import pandas spd, and pd.read csv. And then we'll say tasks backlog. Beautiful. That's df.head. Okay, df.columns. Task check, projects, date, priority, completion date. Okay, so with pandas, everything seems to be fine. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to ask ChatGPT to rewrite this using pandas just to avoid whatever issue I'm having here with this method of reading the CSV. I'm not really interested in, doing the best code possible. I just want something to work so that we can move on to the next automation. Okay, so I'm just going to come here and just say rewrite the reading of the table using pandas instead of CSV, instead of the CSV package. Sure. And then use pandas. Install pandas, sure, gotta install pandas, and now it's rewriting and will give me the writing using pandas, which is probably gonna be much easier. So let's take a look. All right, so that looks good. Yep, that looks pretty good. And now it's doing all those stuff. We're going to improve the rest of the stuff later. Okay, perfect. So now we have our new version. I'm just going to paste it right here. And we're going to run it again. Again, I'm going to delete this part because we don't need it. And I'm going to say all the same stuff I just did. Yep. And let's see what happens. Again, it's the tasks. Sorry about that. So it's task. Beautiful. Well, let's try it again. Okay, so it's a key error project. That's interesting because because it's projects with an S. I mean, come on. Okay, just correct it and check it again. There we go. So now it's saying here, okay, look, okay, there's a bunch of stuff. So let's unpack this. What did you do? This week you completed the following tasks. Learn to connect tasks from different project databases, create a newsletter. That's weird because I didn't do this task. Review the intro to Docker, rewrite some lesson that I was working on, set my health metrics, another thing that I didn't do, schedule my vacation, set a budget for the month. That's interesting. So let's see one thing. Let's see how it checking that if I did project or not. So task summary plus equal and then what did you do? Okay, so essentially it's not getting the check. So I'm gonna use the check in the prompt in order to do a better job of cleaning up the table. So I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna say, look, that works. Just make the following changes. Tasks is actually task. Project is actually projects. And and use the check column to check whether or not a task was performed. So let's send that back. Sure, here's the updated code with the requested changes. And now we're getting the updated code, which is awesome. And this is the, okay, yeah, forgot to ask to remove this -q argument for the CLI2, but that's fine. I think this is a great first attempt at this. And I'm also going to have to change the model that's using, because it's using GPT-4, which is a bit like cheating in a way. Okay, perfect. So nice task. It's projects. Perfect. They implemented these things. Removing this line again. So now it's using pandas. Hopefully it's using pandas, right? Pandas, yeah, iterating over the rows. If task check, there we go. So now it implemented the check that I wanted. And let's see how the app looks now. So I'm just gonna do this. So automating -t tasks backlog .csv. And now let's see what happens. Perfect. So now let's take a look. It's showing me a bunch of stuff. Okay. So yeah. So tasks check. It's not just, it shouldn't just check. It should be true in order to pass. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to say if this value is equal to true, yeah, because right now it's saying that I did some stuff that I didn't. Change trainer name, confirm this, okay, organize a week. Yeah, those are tasks that I There are tasks that I did. There are tasks that I didn't do. Create a newsletter. Okay. So a task should be considered done when a task should be considered done when the column value is true. So I'm just gonna, while I'm getting the updated version of the code, let's come here and let's do one thing. Okay, so it's iterating over each task, task in task iterate rows, and then we say print task, and I'm gonna just get rid of the rest, and let's see what happens. Beautiful. Okay, there you go. Yes, no, yes, no. All right. So it has to be a Boolean. So let's see if I just do like okay, yes, true, yes, no. Okay, I'm just gonna say bool task check. Let's see what happens. There we go. True. It's saying true to all of them. Okay. So I'm just gonna say task check is equal to yes. Let's see if that works. Yep. So this is the check that I need. And this is what I'm going to add to the code that was given to me by ChatGPT. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to say, okay. And backbone. And I'm going to do this. Beautiful. And now we can do that again. Nice. Perfect. Now that makes sense. Yep. Now it's giving me all the tasks that I actually performed. Solving this, slashing this. Yep. So now it's giving me the correct stuff, which is awesome because now I can look at the tasks that I did. Awesome. What was good and what was bad. And then I'm going to just give it like a general idea. So I think I'm going to say something like, I think I was not good enough on prioritizing tasks, and I focused too much on work and left personal errands. How to say errands? Errands, personal stuff to the side. So that's, so actually I just focused on the bad stuff, but it's okay. Let's see what I get as an answer to my input, where I just complained that I wasn't prioritizing enough on the tasks, that I focused too much on work and left personal stuff to the side, etc. Okay, so now we're waiting for the feedback from ChatGPT. I'm actually going to change this to GPT 3.5 Turbo and then test again, because GPT-4, it's more expensive, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, beautiful. And now we get an answer from the model, and it's saying, okay, to improve based on the good and bad aspects you've mentioned, you can consider the following strategies. Time management. Allocate specific time slots in your daily schedule for both personal and work tasks. Prioritize tasks by their deadlines, importance, and urgency. The Eisenhower matrix. Avoid multitasking. Set realistic goals, boundaries. Okay, so this is awesome. But I feel like this is not as tailored to my tasks as I would like. So we're going to change that. We're going to make this to be perfectly tailored to the kind of stuff that I want to be doing. So we're going to be, first, let me just check what I got here. Test should be considered the value is true. Okay, so I already fixed that. This is actually not the fix. The fix is this. So this is good. So what I'm going to be doing now, and this is something that actually can help quite a bit, is when I get the improvement question, it's saying good, bad input, I'm going to separate. I'm going to say just exactly as I wanted. I want to say good input. What was good? Okay. And then I'm going to ask bad input. Bad input. So what was bad? And then based on this input, the improvement question is going to be, how can I improve based on the fact that based on how can I improve based on the fact that the good stuff how can I improve based on the fact that this is good and that is bad? Kind of weird. How can I improve based on the fact that this is good? Okay, so how can I improve? Okay. Considering that these were the tasks performed, and then I'm going to feed it the tasks. Task summary. Task summary, yeah. And then I'm going to put it on another line. Exactly. Consider that these were tasks performed. How can I improve based on these good things? I'm going to use good things because I don't have any better idea right now. How can I improve based on these good things? And then I'm going to say, again, good input. And these bad things. And then again, I'm going to say bad input. So consider these. How can I improve? Yes. And then suggest 5 to 10 actionable strategies or tasks tailored to everything that I mentioned before. Yes, there might be an issue with tokens. It might be a little bit too big, but I think that for like weak summaries, I don't think that's going to be a big issue here. So let's see if that works, and let's see if it works better. Okay. So let's take a look. So I'm going to say, okay, Python automating weekly reviews, apply -t backlog, and then tasks backlog.csv. Perfect. So now it shows me the stuff that I did. That's awesome. And then I said, what was good? I finished many work tasks and important side projects. I also, let's see. I also published some YouTube shorts and overall kept a consistent pace with my daily tasks. So that's my good input. The bad input did not perform as many habits like reading and meditation. Also did poor prioritization for some tasks like related to the courses I am writing, as well as as well as not as much work productivity as I wished. That's what I'm going to say. And let's see what is the output that I get from the model based on these good and bad inputs. Here are 5 actionable strategies to help you improve in the areas you mentioned. Prioritization, dedicate some time to prioritize your tasks based on urgency importance to help ensure you're focusing on the most important things. Time management, use a time tracking tool to monitor your spending your time. Habits, set aside specific times to engage in activities that help you establish good habits like reading, meditating, etc. Productivity, use Pomodoro, etc. Feedback from colleagues, blah, blah, blah. I hope these let me know if you're blah, blah. Okay. I mean, it could be improved vastly, but I feel like I like this first version of this automation. Essentially, we're using ChatGPT in this interactive manner to kind of like help us, interactively question ourselves about our productivity and whatever based on feedback from the tasks that we performed. So it kind of like fits the criteria for what I wanted to do with this automation. So I will consider this automation done. So it's doing all of these. And if I go back here, we automated week review. So I'll consider that done.